Hi, welcome to The Diner, where we help you eat clean and live lean. I'm your host, Ian Lauer, and with us today is Tad the Diet Coach.
Thank you very much, Ian, for having me on the show, and thank you for the viewers for tuning in to see us.
Today, we're talking about water. Not usually the most exciting subject. All you hear is drink 8 glasses, or obviously more if you're bodybuilding and whatnot. But we're going to be talking about some important things today. And we brought along some samples for you. Some Kangen water, some distilled water versus some spring water, and some tap water. Now you're going to have to take my word for it that these are actual different kinds of water.
I guess we could have put labels on them.
Yeah, we could have. But really, I mean, these are all H2O water, but there are some differences. So I was wondering if you could tell our audience a bit about the differences.
Yeah, the difference between a lot of these different kinds of waters, and I'll just go down the list here of the things that we described. Tap water, obviously tap water, it's unadulterated, it's been filtered, but yet there's still some participants in it. Usually depending on where you live, it can mean that you have hard water or soft water, but most of the time it's here in California, it's hard water, at least in the areas that we live in, which means there's a lot of mineral content, heavy mineral content, usually calcium, and that's usually the white crusty stuff you see around your dishwashers and your fixtures and things like that in your kitchen and your bathrooms. And then of course that's what water samples are for. But that's the unadulterated sort of tap water. Then there's distilled water, and you hear a lot of competitors drinking this during competition time. And distilled water really isn't the best kind of water to drink because it deionizes things and you release more minerals. It leaches minerals out of your system, but it's great for ironing. So, because it doesn't leave a mineral residue on your clothes or anything. And it's also good for cleaning and watering plants. But you can use it for certain functions.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tad, but this is not a home ec video, so we're going to have to leave it ironing at home.
I'll leave it. I don't do a lot of ironing.
You're welcome at home. Now, Tad, please, just stick to the bodybuilding, these muscles.
So distilled water definitely has its unique purposes, but not really highly functional for most people. There's a lot of different water systems out there, and this is some RO water, which comes from my RO sink, which is reverse osmosis. It basically takes my water from my tap water and it takes out all the impurities essentially, and does do a reverse osmosis process. And so it's this is just as like getting some bottled water that you buy in the store there's nothing else in it. I, on my system, have a separate filter that adds back in some minerals so that it changes my RO water to be a little bit more alkaline, and that's what I want. This is the Kangen water. Kangen water is an alkaline water that you can actually adjust the alkalinity of the water, and it's promoted for health, and it absolutely is healthy. The only problem is, and this is my personal opinion about this particular system, it is too expensive for what you get. You can buy an RO system for $150, and you can add a filter to it for very cheaply and get the same effect and raise your pH. Here's the caveat: you don't have as much control. And also, alkaline water will not change your alkalinity in your body to a very good. It won't do it very efficiently. You need it incorporated also with lifestyle, with food, because most of what's going in your body is not water usually. It's food too. So you have to incorporate alkalinity in your foods and things like this as well. So unless you're just drinking, gallons and gallons and gallons of water a day, and it's pretty much the only thing you're drinking. So that's the big push for this. And alkalinity in your system is extremely important. Water exchange, food exchange in the body is extremely important. So drinking enough water is very, very important. And what kind of water you select is important, but in my opinion, there's the distinction between things like Kangen water and things like these other waters. There's only a minor benefit. It's not to say that there's no benefit. It's just is not as much as I don't think it's the value you're getting for what you're paying for. That's just my opinion. So RO water, in my opinion, is the best because it's just like bottled water. It gives you the benefits that you want: clean water for good food exchange with no extra minerals that you don't want. But if you can get a little bit of alkalinity in it, then that's the most ideal situation.
All right, well, great. It sounds like the way to go is a reverse osmosis system, an RO system, and then one of those filters that help you get some basic minerals back in. But which minerals are we looking for?
Well, usually when you buy the filters, they'll have some very specific things, but usually it's calcium and magnesium and these kinds of things that are naturally occurring in the tap water that they just need to replace back in. They don't filter it completely out, and so the pH then it'll change the pH in a positive way.
Okay, great. Well,
but I didn't want to turn this. I do want to make it clear that I don't want to turn this into a sales pitch for one particular kind of water or another. But that's my take on it.
But you did say though that distilled is something that you should only use during certain times. You don't want to just
it's
drink distilled all the time.
It's more functional. So there's a very specific function, and you should know exactly why you're doing it and what you're doing. It's just not something you want to drink every day as a normal part of your process.
Got it. Well, make sure you click back in soon for more great episodes, and until then, drink up.